Picture the last time you paid your financial advisor. You probably paid it straight out of your bank account from money you had already paid income tax on. And if you did, that's not a mistake on your part. It's just how almost everyone does it because nobody tells you there's a better way. Today I'm going to show you exactly how to flip that and why it matters more than you'd think. Here's the number that reframes everything. If you pay around $3,000 a year in advice and platform fees from your bank account instead of using deductible super money, the modeled gap is more than $80,000 over 30 years. Why so much? Because your after-tax cash can cost you up to 47% in tax including the Medicare levy, while money inside super is taxed at just 15% according to the ATO. Same fee, completely different price tag depending on which dollars you use. Your first move is simply understanding the gap, because once you see it, everything else clicks. Concessional contributions, which include your employer super, salary sacrifice, and personal deductible contributions, are taxed at 15% inside super. Your personal income, meanwhile, can be taxed at up to 47% including Medicare, according to the ATO. That difference is the entire reason this works, so the first thing you do is find your own marginal rate. That's the number this whole strategy hangs on. Now here's the core mechanism, and this is the part most people miss. If you pay a $3,000 fee from your bank account and you're on a 39% marginal rate, you actually had to earn about $4,800 before tax just to cover it. But if you make a $3,000 personal deductible contribution instead, it cuts your taxable income. It's taxed at just 15% in the fund, and it leaves around $2,000 to $550 still invested for you, according to the ATO's contribution rules. Same money out of your pocket, but you keep far more of it working. Step 3 is what turns the contribution into an actual deduction. And I want to be upfront with you. This is where people trip up, so pay close attention. Log into your Superfunds member portal. Make the contribution by BPA or bank transfer, then complete the Notice of Intent to Claim a Deduction form and submit it to your fund. Here's the catch most people don't mention. You must receive their written acknowledgement before you lodge your tax return or roll the money over. No acknowledgement, no deduction. The ATO won't allow it. Step 4 is checking how much room you actually have to work with. The concessional contributions cap is $30,000 per person this year, and it rises to $32,500 from the 1st of July 2026, according to the ATO. So if you're earning around $140,000, your employer super of roughly $16,100 leaves you close to $14,000 of spare concessional room to use. Do this maths before anything else, because in a moment I'll show you why going over that cap can undo the whole benefit. Step 5 is the long game, and this is where it gets genuinely interesting. Earnings on investments you hold in your own name are taxed at up to 47%. While the exact same earnings inside super are taxed at 15% in accumulation and 0% once you're in the retirement phase, according to MoneySmart and the ATO. By using your concessional cap along with the non-concessional cap of $120,000 a year, you can progressively shift a whole portfolio into a far cheaper tax environment over time. Let me make that concrete for you. Say you've got a $100,000 portfolio yielding 5% income. If you're on the lower end and this sits outside super at a 39% rate, that income costs you about $1,950 in tax. Inside super at 15%, the same income costs just $750. That's roughly $1,200 of extra tax every single year on the same money. And if you've got a larger portfolio, that gap scales right up before you even count capital gains. This is modeled on ATO and MoneySmart settings, so treat it as illustrative rather than a promise for your exact situation. This is where most people make the mistake that costs them the most. They contribute to super, feel good about it, and then never lodge the notice of intent, which means they get zero deduction. You must lodge it and receive the acknowledgement before you lodge your tax return and before you roll over or withdraw that money, according to the ATO. If this feels fiddly, that's normal. But the timing rule is strict, and if you miss it, the whole benefit simply disappears. The second mistake is accidentally going over the $30,000 concessional cap. If you do, the excess gets taxed at your marginal rate plus an interest charge, which completely wipes out that 15% advantage, according to the ATO. So here's how to protect yourself. Always count your employer contributions and any salary sacrifice first. Then leave a small buffer before you top up with personal deductible contributions. A little breathing room here saves you a real headache at tax time. Let's run it back quickly so it sticks. Know your tax gap, pay your advice costs with a deductible super contribution. Lodge the notice of intent and get that acknowledgement in writing. Confirm your spare room under the $30,000 cap. And progressively move your long-term investments into super over time. Do those 5 things and you turn silent tax leaks into real money in your retirement. Money that would otherwise just disappear. If you've made it this far, you now understand something most people paying an advisor invoice never do, that the dollars you use matter as much as the fee itself. The one thing to do today is dig out your last advisor or platform invoice and check exactly how you paid it. If you want to go deeper, next I'm breaking down how the non-concessional bring forward rule lets you move up to $360,000 into super in a single year, worth watching before your next contribution. I'm Sophie, I'll see you there.